the fire has to be acknowledged, that there was a fire, there was a catastrophe, there was a catastrophic event, series of events that must be merged with the story of the phoenix arising from the ashes. And that's the essence of the fire. That's the essence of the phoenix. If it wasn't for the fire, there would be no phoenix. Right? If there wasn't a fire, there would not be a phoenix. Tell the full story about the fire. The fire this time. Witness it. We must witness it and acknowledge it for what it is, for what it is not, and to do so with grace, humility, compassion, and without judgment. It is what it is. The fire is part of the resilient phoenix emerging from its ashes, transcending the adversity, transcending the fire, and being reborn and rebirthed into a better version of itself. Tell the story, the full story. Don't leave out the fire. The fire is important. That's how we learn, grow, and evolve into better versions of ourselves, individually and collectively. For some reason, I was compelled to share that. It's like the phoenix arising from the ashes. Well, clearly there was a freaking fire, right? Why doesn't anyone talk about the fire? Like, why are we glamorizing the phoenix arising from the ashes? I mean, I get that. Like, yes, it's absolutely beautiful. It's a freaking miracle to survive a fire. If that's what actually happens, you survive a fire. Perhaps, maybe, the fire that the phoenix endures and goes through, perhaps by choice, is symbolic of a rebirth and renewal that the phoenix instinctually, intuitively knows needs to happen in order for it to transcend and grow through the period, season of adversity that the phoenix has run up against a brick wall to. A limitation. Perhaps the phoenix is symbolic of something greater than just one person. You know? Perhaps the phoenix is symbolic of a nation of people, a nation in its own right, a set of ideals, institutions. Maybe it's bigger than just one person arising as a phoenix. Perhaps it's bigger than that. Don't forget to include the fire that occurred. The phoenix does not exist unless there has been a devastating and destructive catastrophe of a fire. The fire is important to tell the fire story. Tell the story of the phoenix's fire. So yeah, those are just off the top my thoughts on self-love, the superficial buzzword of self-love, and the practical application and steps that are required in order to embark upon a journey of self-love, which I am of the opinion that the journey preceding, leading up to that journey of self-love is actually self-discovery, a journey of self-discovery, knowing myself, self-awareness, self-reconciliation, reintegrating the discarded pieces of you that you've abandoned, reclaiming them with power, with grace, and with love to heal them and reintegrate those missing pieces, fragments of you, fragments of oneself, back into its rightful owner. No one else can pick up those pieces, and they've been waiting for you to come back and reclaim them so you can be your whole, true, authentic self. And embrace it and master it. Master yourself. Become a better person because you're not operating out of a space of fear, lack, pretending to be something that you're not, ignorance. You're not operating out of love. But in order to get to loving yourself, you gotta put in the work. And it is work. And it's a process. And it is a continuous process. It does not stop. Don't be disillusioned by it either, because you're worth it. The real you is worth it. And you have something to contribute to this world in that healed, elevated state of yourself, version of yourself, that higher version of yourself. Keep growing, grow through it, and don't count yourself out. That's self-discovery. You have to discover yourself first before you can love yourself. And it has so much more meaning and depth than I can even put into words. You're worth it. There will come a point where that choice of self-discovery, self-love, elevating, and becoming a better person, it will no longer be a choice. It will be a requirement in which there will be no other alternatives, no other viable alternatives. And that will be the only path of life to more life, to a better life that's available to you. My journey of self-discovery and self-love, true self-love, that is one thing that I've certainly learned along the way, is that I prefer to do the work willingly, without resistance, or with as little resistance as possible, because it's going to happen either way. Whatever that change is, whatever that thing is that must be let go, or perspective shift that needs to happen, you can either accept it willingly, or it will be, I hate to use the word forced, because it's not forced, but the other way is just not an option. That's just a path of destruction, total, complete self-annihilation, and that to me is not a viable option, especially to consciously choose self-annihilation. That's not an option, and I hope that it's not an option to you either, if you're here watching and receiving this message. You have the strength and endurance to run your race at your pace, okay? Never give up. Wrestle with it for as long as you have to. Keep striving.